I'm John Vandermosten, Zacks Senior Life Sciences Analyst, and we have today with us Travis Whitfill, the co-founder and chief operating officer of Azitra. Azitra recently participated in a few events. One of them was ASCO, and the other, well, it wasn't an event, but rather it was a trial readout for their Netherton Syndrome product. So, Travis, I wanted to see if you had anything to share with us on these two items. Why don't we start with the safety data that came out of the ATR-12 trial that was presented back in June, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, bio. Yeah. So very excited about our ATR-12 program, which is an engineered strain of Staph epidermidis that secretes lectin protein, which is missing in patients with Netherton syndrome. So we're currently conducting a phase 1/2 clinical trial in about 12 Netherton syndrome patients. And in June, we reported our first safety results from the trial in the first 5 patients. And we announced that it is halfway enrolled currently. So far to date, there's been no severe adverse events. It's a pretty clean safety profile, and all of the mild to moderate events were transient and were able to be treated right away. So nothing concerning about the safety profile. We're excited to keep moving forward with the trial, and we expect to have top-line efficacy results in the first quarter of next year.
Okay. And any other milestones that we could hear from you, maybe when you expect it to be fully enrolled, and then when you might be published in the journal or things like that, or even moving into a phase, a later phase trial based, assuming that the data continues to be strong.
Yeah. I mean, any and all of the above are possible. I think we expect to announce possibly some more clinical biomarkers on the safety data later this year. But we do expect the top-line data from the full trial first quarter of next year. And looking ahead for our second program, ATR-04, for EGFR inhibitor-associated rash, we expect to dose the first patient this quarter in the next few weeks, and we'll be announcing that soon. And that'll be a phase 1/2 trial with a single dose in the first cohort leading to a multiple dose, and then a multiple dose cohort in the second cohort that'll be treated for 28 days.
Okay. And Azitra's chief medical officer presented at ASCO back in the end of May, beginning of June, on ATR-04 and EGFR inhibitor-related rash. What were some of the takeaways from that presentation that you guys had there?
Yeah, it wasn't a very exciting presentation with data. We were just announcing our clinical plan. So as I mentioned, there's a first part, which is the phase 1 portion, where we'll have 8 patients that are dosed for a single day, leading to 28-day dosing. And then we'll essentially expand that cohort to an additional 24 patients that'll be treated for 28 days as well. So that's the clinical plan that we described, and it's a 3-to-1 randomization from active to vehicle. And we've enrolled 4 centers so far throughout the country to participate in the trial.
Okay, that's good. And maybe our viewers might not understand the what problem ATR-04 is solving. You presented at ASCO. That's an oncology and cancer conference, but this is a skin condition. Why don't you tell us how this solves the EGFRI related rash problem?
Sure. So there's about 200,000 people in the U.S. annually that are treated with EGFR inhibitors for various types of cancers like esophageal cancer, gastric cancer, lung cancer. They're very effective as a targeted therapy, but they do have side effects. And one of those side effects is a skin rash. And it's really severe, actually. There's about anywhere from 50 to 100% of patients will get this rash, depending on which EGFRI they're on. And as many as 20% will discontinue therapy because the rash is so severe. So what we're trying to do is a few things. First is avoid prescription antibiotic use. What we found is that all of the oncologists rather will prophylactically prescribe antibiotics for their patients. So we're trying to avoid that. And secondly, we're trying to make sure that these patients stay on their actual oncology treatment later, and finally have a better quality of life.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's one of the big problems is discontinuation, right? These
Right.
patients have the rash and they don't like it, so they have to stop the treatment. They don't get the benefit of the EGFR inhibitor.
Yeah, exactly. And the rash is on their face and upper body, so it's not only very visible, but it's also very painful too.
Azitra recently reported its second quarter earnings and also posted its balance sheet. Now, the company has limited cash funds on its balance sheet right now, but it also has access to additional dollars. Travis, tell us what you've got, and if this is enough to help support run your ATR-12 and ATR-04 trial over the next year.
Sure. So we currently have an agreement in place with a capital group for a $20 million equity line of credit, and we're able to draw down on that capital over time. And that currently funds us through next year, through mid-2026. So we're currently funded for both of our trials for ATR-4 and ATR-12.
Great. All right. Thanks, Travis. It was great having you here.
Thanks so much, Sean.